What's going on, guys? Welcome in. Farzin Vasugian here with you. Thank you for joining me for this pregame live chat, our first of the regular season. Technically not the first of the year because we do these live streams in the preseason, but now we do them for real. We are 4 hours away from kickoff, from the first Chiefs game of the season. Let's go, baby. More air horns. There we go. I think I just hit my quota for air horns for the night. Unless something great happens during the game that we gotta go after the game and give it one more go. But we're back. We're here, man. It's been a long wait. Certainly a lot of anticipation. I think a lot of people have been eager to see what would happen. Maybe some people anxious because of the way the Chiefs came off last game. Let me just start there. Because obviously the last time we saw the Chiefs in a game that counted was Super Bowl 59. And obviously that was not a good showing whatsoever. It's one of the worst Super Bowl performances of all time. But what I can say is when you look at this Chiefs football team, that's not their first time getting blown out in a Super Bowl. Then I'm not saying that's a good thing to get blown out in a Super Bowl, but the last time Kansas City got blown out in a Super Bowl, they still made it back to the AFC title game. Didn't win that game, but still made it back there. And then what happened after that? They won the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. They've been to the Super Bowl 3 years in a row, winning back-to-back. So here's my point, because going to the Super Bowl 1 year is difficult. Going back-to-back is difficult. Winning it. The Chiefs have gone to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row once before and have gone to 3 straight, trying to make it 4 straight appearances. That's not easy. Like, even New England during the early part of Brady's time there, they did not see this kind of success. They had a lot of success, don't get me wrong, but 5 Super Bowl appearances, that they never saw. I mean, a lot of us, like me especially, I've never seen a Chiefs Super Bowl in my lifetime up until February 2nd, 2020. So here's my point. Yeah, the Chiefs got their asses kicked in that game. But you know what they have that no one else has? They have Andy Reid. They have Patrick Mahomes. They have Travis Kelce. They have Chris Jones. They've got leaders on this team. This is the same team that, like I said, they got whooped in Super Bowl 55, and they didn't pout about it. They came back stronger. Now, they didn't make it to the Super Bowl back the following year, but they did the following 3 after that, and winning, like I said, back-to-back. This is the same team that once was down 24-0 in a playoff game. They've been down a lot of times. Patrick Mahomes has a very impressive record when trailing in the fourth quarter of a game. He's got a wildly impressive record. I think 5-0 or 6-0, and I would need to look that up. Maybe even more than that. When trailing in the final 2 minutes of a game, in a playoff game, and finding a way to either score or tie, he's done it every single time in the playoffs. Super Bowl 58 is a good example. The AFC Championship game against the Patriots, they didn't win that one, but they found a way to tie it. Obviously, the 13-second game, the AFC Championship game against the Bengals, multiple Super Bowls. So you get the idea. Yeah, it's definitely more than 5-0. But the point I'm trying to make is this is not a team that's going to feel bad for themselves and expect a lot of sympathy from the outside because they got embarrassed in the Super Bowl last year. They want to come back out, put on the pads, put on the helmet, get that football on the ground, snap it, and play some football. That's his Chiefs team right now. You know, listen, I know there are a lot of people. Here's the problem with the social media era of sports today. A lot of people focus so much on the most recent thing that happened. So, for example, if look at the Dallas Cowboys, they had a very difficult time getting pressure on Jalen Hurts last night. They also here's a good example. CeeDee Lamb had a lot of drops in key moments last night. Do you think CeeDee Lamb will do that for 17 more games? No. You know that I would bet that CeeDee Lamb would rebound from that. 100%. So I think a lot of times people do get carried away and they want to jump on a team or jump on a player because of the most recent thing that happened, which is negative. So for the Chiefs, the most recent thing that happened to them was Super Bowl 59, and it was a very poor showing. And as a result, people just want to latch onto that and use that one singular game as a reason as to why the Chiefs have a downfall coming. I have heard about the Chiefs' downfall too many times, more than I can count. I heard it after Mahomes' first year as a starter. Oh, he's never going to be that good again. No way. And then after winning Super Bowl 54, okay, all right, now people have figured him out. Okay, well, they didn't because they made it back to Super Bowl 55. Oh, but they got embarrassed in that game, so there's no way they're coming back. Oh, they've still been hanging in there. They've been to the AFC title game every year. Oh, they trade Tyreek Hill, so they're definitely done this time. No, they went back-to-back Super Bowls. Oh, but they're dropping a bunch of passes, and they have all these injuries, and Patrick doesn't have the protection, yet they somehow find a way to reach the AFC title game at the bare minimum with Mahomes. Now, we know that's going to come to an end at some point. Could be this year, could be 2, 3, 4 years from now. I don't know. But what I do know is this Chiefs team is not just going to bend down and give up. I mean, this is not a football team that got to where they are right now just from giving up because of one bad game. Chiefs have had some bad games. That 2021 game against Tennessee, Patrick said it well when they had a rematch the following year. He said they kicked our ass, plain and simple. But what did the Chiefs do? They didn't just roll. Keep in mind, that 3-4 start in 2021, a lot of people wrote off the Chiefs. They were last place in the AFC West. People thought that they'd be done for and they couldn't make it. They made it to the AFC title game that year. And again, I know that season didn't end well, but if you're going to latch on to Patrick Mahomes' worst performances, what are some of his worst performances? Let's talk about that. The 2 Super Bowls, and not all of them are on him solely, but okay, the 2 Super Bowls, the AFC title game against Cincinnati, maybe 1 or 2 really bad regular season games, which every player has. Tom Brady has had them. Peyton Manning's had them. Both Manning and Brady, when you look at some of the worst games they've ever had, 1 or 2 of them have been against Kansas City, in fact. If you're really going to nitpick Patrick Mahomes and some of the worst games he's had of his career, I mean, you have to really dig deep. You have to look at games where he's actually been to the big stage. He's had a lot of great moments at the big stage and some bad moments at the big stage. My point is, this is a Chiefs football team that isn't just going to roll over and give up and quit. No one reaches 5 Super Bowls, 2 of them in a row, and then another 3 in a row, winning back-to-back, winning 3 of them in total, and reaching the AFC title game 7 years in a row by rolling over, quitting, pouting, feeling sorry for themselves. No, that's not this football team. And here's one thing I will say, because I still remember when the Chiefs lost to Denver. It was Kansas City's first time losing to the Broncos in the Patrick Mahomes era. And everyone made a big deal about that because they were getting ready to play the Dolphins in Germany. And if you remember, a couple of weeks prior, the Dolphins hung 70-something on the Broncos that same year. And people always do the triangle math. Team A beat Team B beats Team C. So Team C is definitely going to lose to Team A. That's the approach people had for that Chiefs-Dolphins game in Germany. But when the Chiefs showed up to Germany, you saw Mahomes, Kelsey, Butker, Chris Jones, Justin Reed, who's obviously no longer with the team. But you saw them all smiles, all happy. You couldn't even tell that they just lost to the Broncos a few days ago, which was a bad loss at the time, considering the Broncos were not very good that year. Same thing that same season. They lost to the Raiders on Christmas. That was a pretty embarrassing loss. But as the following week went on and they were getting ready for, I think, the Bengals. Yeah, because they clinched the AFC West and a playoff spot the following week. You saw the Chiefs in their press conferences in the locker room. You saw the players, the team in good spirits, essentially. So ultimately what I'm trying to say is I know a lot of people outside of Kansas City, they certainly think the Chiefs are done for because of the most recent game they had, which was Super Bowl 59. Listen, if you're any of those people, and I know some of you guys are watching, some of you guys fit that bill. I hope you guys are prepared for disappointment, because that's not how this Chiefs team rolls. And listen, they've been 0-1 before too. Remember what happened the last time the Chiefs were 0-1? Oh, that's right. They won the Super Bowl that year. So again, you can be 0-1. You can be 3-4 like they were in 2021, but they'll find a way to make another deep run. They won't always win the Super Bowl, but they'll always make that big, deep run. I still remember the years of Kansas City not winning a playoff game for 22 years, not winning a playoff game at home for 25 years. Now this team, listen, don't get me wrong, winning the AFC West is great. Making the playoffs is great. Making it out of the first round, the divisional round, or the wild card round is great. That's no longer the standard. Like if the Raiders, and I'm not picking on the Raiders because we dislike the Raiders as fans, but let's be honest here. If the Raiders clinched a playoff spot this year and then got embarrassed 41-0 in the first game, that would still be considered a successful season for the Raiders, and rightfully so, because this is a team that's only made the playoffs twice in the last 21, 22 years, something like that. So, well, let me give you another example. KU basketball. And I know a lot of you guys either love KU or hate KU. KU basketball will always make the tournament. But you know who will celebrate and have a parade, a mini parade, if they make it? A school like UMKC. And no disrespect to UMKC, but let's be real. If UMKC ever made the NCAA tournament, that would be one of the greatest moments in the history of that institution. So Kansas City is not that football team anymore that just reaches the playoffs. I mean, this is a team that always makes a deep run. If they don't make the AFC title game, feels like a shocking ending. Not to say last year's ending certainly wasn't shocking, because nobody expected that. I don't care whether you're a fan of the Chiefs or you hate them. Nobody saw that coming last year. But they still made it to the Super Bowl when all year long people kept saying, "Oh, they're gonna run out of luck soon." Well, they made it back to the Super Bowl. So blame the refs, blame Taylor Swift, voodoo magic, Mahomes magic, whatever you want. But deep down inside, everybody knows this Chiefs team is not just going to disintegrate and go away. I mean, this Chiefs team, you know what's interesting? I know a lot of people love to compare Mahomes to the Patriot Brady and compare Kelsey to Gronk. But you hear Brady do interviews. You hear Gronk do interviews. Why is it that a lot of fans and some of the media love to compare Mahomes and Brady, and they're quick to say how Brady's so much better, yet you hear Brady and Gronk always praising Mahomes, Kelsey, and the Chiefs? Both Brady and Gronk, in the interviews they've done, have said very clearly, this team's not going away. Gronk was on Kay Adams' YouTube channel and was talking about how Mahomes is coming back with a vengeance, and he's going to come back on top and stay on top. His words, not mine. So we all know at the end of the day, yeah, sure, we can talk about how much that last game was. Yeah, they've been blown out in 2 Super Bowls. They've also won 3 Super Bowls. I mean, if getting blown out in Super Bowl 55 meant winning 2 more in the fairly distant near future, I would have taken that. If getting blown out in last year's Super Bowl, meaning you don't get a three-peat and you lose like that, can lead to another back-to-back Super Bowl wins for the Chiefs very soon, yeah, I'm certainly not going to be upset about that. I know Brady's never been blown out in a Super Bowl, but he's lost to Eli Manning twice. I mean, there are a lot of conversations about the type of career he had. Hell, head to head, Brady once lost to a backup in a Super Bowl. So, you know, at the end of the day, the Chiefs are not going anywhere. All right, so that's just kind of my thoughts walking into week 1. I will read some of your guys' comments now because I know a lot of you guys have thoughts, questions on your mind. If you guys have, listen, we did not do a Red Friday Q&A live chat today because obvious reasons. There's a game today, plain and simple. So if you guys have any questions or anything you want to speak on today, anything you guys want me to cover, go ahead and do that now. Now would be the time to do that. I'll say live for a few more minutes and read some of your guys' questions. Before I do that, do want to say a couple quick things. First and foremost, thank you to you guys. You guys are fucking awesome. The social media has skyrocketed lately, and we haven't even had a game yet. The fact that, yesterday morning, I think we were at 148,000 followers, and we started with 148,000, and we ended the day with 151,000. That's because of you guys. I'm just getting word now. We just surpassed 152,000. So let me do one last thing here. If I can pull it up real quickly on my end. Bear with me. Okay. So let's go to, since last Thursday, we've had more than 7,700 followers. And as far as like views go, more than 26 million. Here, I'll even show you on the screen. Look at this. There you go. 26 million views and 7,700 new followers just in the last 7 days alone. Thank you guys. I appreciate you all. The other thing I did want to shout out real quickly here. Big thank you to my good friends over at KCTV5. If I can figure out how to pull this up, I'm always terrible with this. There we go. Shane Kanicki and Kerrigan Arnold. They're two awesome people. They do a show called My KC Live on KCTV5. It's not a news show per se, and they're not anchors. They're hosts, which is a big difference for those who don't know. But basically, they spend a lot of time talking about the community. They're not covering, the violence that goes on in downtown or things like that. So this was truly an honor to hang out with them. I've been on their show many times. Last year around this time, in fact, it was a year ago today, they featured the Man Cave on their show on My KC Live. So always fun hanging out with them. If you haven't already, give them a follow on social media. They're always a lot of fun to hang out with, talk to. They do a fantastic job on their show. Which again, My KC Live, weekdays 9 a.m. on KCTV5. And it's always fun hanging out with those guys on their show. So if you haven't already, watch their show, check it out, show them some love on social media, let them know I sent you. And if you've got a business or an event that you want to promote, don't be afraid to reach out to them, because they're always willing to bring people on that can that can certainly benefit from that kind of thing for sure. Okay, last quick thing before I get to questions. I know a lot of you guys have been asking, what is this announcement I have? I want to say it, but I have not been given the green light to say it yet. It's one of those things that's like unofficially official. You know what I mean? So I gotta wait before I can say anything. But it's an exciting piece of news for the podcast and the live streams and the social media content. It's something that you guys have allowed me to be able to do, something I've been wanting to do for a long time, in fact, and because of you guys, I've been able to do it. I can't say what it is, but I hope to have some details on that very, very soon. So please bear with me on that. Okay, let's get into some questions here. Brady says, do you think Brashard Smith could take some of the Rashee Rice role? Maybe, maybe not. This is going to be his debut with the Chiefs, and he's kind of low on the depth chart at the running back position. I think Brashard Smith will get involved with this offense, maybe not right away. I think Pacheco and Hunt are still your key running backs. I wouldn't be surprised if Smith had a touch or two in this game, but I don't know if he'll listen. There are going to be a lot of people that'll try to fill in for Rashee Rice's shoes, but I still think, and if you saw my 3 keys earlier today, I mentioned the wide receivers more than enough to manage and get through for these 6 games. Thierry says Mahomes throwing for 5 touchdowns tonight. I hope so. Have I seen the Brazilian version of Red Kingdom? I have not. Did Tech 9 do it, or is someone doing a cover of that? Scott says, I hope they focus more on the run game. Expect some of that today. in short yardage situations and in the red zone. I know in the preseason when the Chiefs were in the red zone and really close to the goal line, you saw them focus more on the pass, which is what they've done for so many years, even before Mahomes, when Alex Smith was a quarterback. But don't be surprised if the Chiefs run the ball more in certain situations. I know in years past, Kansas City has focused on throwing the ball. They've always been a pass-heavy team, again, even before Mahomes. But even in short yardage situations and in the goal line, they've focused a lot on throwing the ball. And I think, with Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco being healthy, I think you can expect the Chiefs to maybe run it a little more in those situations than they normally have in past years. If 15 is there with 3, they'll always be a contender, especially if Stark stays. Yeah, absolutely. And here's a crazy thing. The coordinators for Kansas City don't get picked up by another team. I mean, Eric Bieniemy took a lateral job because he was essentially forced to prove himself away from Kansas City. He didn't accept that job because he wanted to leave Kansas City. He accepted that job because people doubted his abilities as a head coach because he was working with Mahomes, Andy Reid, Kelsey, all of those, which I think is unfair. I mean, Josh McDaniels got 3 head coaching offers because he was with Brady and Belichick. So that's just my opinion. But again, people are not poaching Kansas City's coordinators. Matt Nagy's not going anywhere. Spags is not going anywhere. They interview him, but they don't go anywhere. They don't go anywhere. NFL Jam, baby. Let's go. Let's do this. It's a sports world, one and clicks, PFT especially. Yeah, definitely PFT. And listen, PFT's like the angle he's always had on like legal things. He kind of did the same thing with Jalen. I almost said Jalen Hurts. Jalen Carter. Too many Jalens. Jalen Royal, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Watson. So many Jalens. Patrick is judged against his best season. Everyone else is judged against Mahomes' worst season. No one's on Mahomes' level or has his mindset. Yeah, and that's the thing, too. Like, what is the worst year the Chiefs have had with Patrick Mahomes? It's an overtime loss in the AFC Championship game. Twice. So, in order to not let the Chiefs win a Super Bowl, they've at the very least pushed their limits to the AFC Championship game in overtime. They don't go down that easily, man. I mean, I didn't just spew a bunch of bullshit to you guys a few minutes ago. This is a team that does not go down without a fight. Patrick, I just read that one. Let's see. For those asking, you will get the game on YouTube. YouTube.com, not YouTube TV. This surprisingly to me, it's been confusing. Maybe not surprising, but the NFL kind of likes to mislead you. And I'm going to do a segment about this later. But listen, I'm not one to complain about streaming services, even though I think it's BS that they're on so many different platforms and you have to be subscribed to so many different things. But it is what it is. What I will call out is when you mislead your audience, and they've done it multiple times. I'll save that for another time. I want to focus on the game for now. I'm with Nick Wright. If any other team had the season the Chiefs did last year, they would be the favorites the following season. And look, I think a lot of it is Chiefs fatigue. We saw it with the Patriots. I remember when the Chiefs started the season 5-0 or 6-0 in 2018, and their first loss was to New England. And I remember Stephen A. Smith the next morning made a really odd comment. He said, even though the Chiefs lost, they look like the better team. How can someone be the better team if they lost? This is what people do now. Like, people did this with the Brady era in New England during the second half of that run. The second of the 9 years, basically saying that, other teams look better. Like, remember when the Chiefs destroyed the Patriots on that Monday Night Football game where the Chiefs broke the record for loudest stadium in the world? Dude, everybody jumped on the Patriots and said they were done. Every single person, and it wasn't just people in Kansas City, even people in New England, fans and the media said it's over. And what happened? They went on to win 3 more Super Bowls. It wasn't smooth sailing the rest of the way, but they still thought that that Patriots team would never win a Super Bowl ever again. Anytime the powerhouse team has a little bit of a brief downfall, mind you, people love to jump on that because that's what people do. Look at Belichick. Belichick historically has always, not necessarily sparred with the media, but Belichick's let it be known that, hey, you're asking a stupid question. So whenever Belichick, like the way Belichick and the Tar Heels lost to, who was it? TCU last week. Dude, I said this on Monday night as the game went on. The media is not going to miss their chance to fire their shot on this, and they're not going to miss. And they didn't. They were, they just took in the beating and basically had fun with it on their shows. Everyone in the media loved talking about Belichick's loss because anytime the powerhouse falls, people love to talk about it. We saw it with the Patriots. We were seeing it sort of for now with Belichick, and we're seeing it with the Chiefs, at least in the offseason, because that's the most recent game we have to go off of. But once, you see the Chiefs go out there and they look good, then, that narrative really goes away. What did that guy who ran out of the end zone for a safety, Dan Orlovsky, what did he say the other day? That Sirianni and Hurts are the modern Belichick and Brady? I mean, even Will Compton, who's a Chiefs hater, was laughing at that comment. He's like, bro, you're not for real. Even Adam Schefter, like the entire set, everyone on that desk was laughing. Like, come on. No one in their right mind thinks that. Nobody. All right, look at this. It is for real, people. Josh Simmons. His first jersey. In a regular season game, of course. To be honest, old Patriot players are the only ones that believe in the Chiefs. Edelman was on Colin Cowherd praising the team. Okay, so I know Edelman was on Cowherd's show recently, and I know Cowherd has recently been down on the Chiefs. But I'll take your word for it because I haven't seen that interview. But yeah, I do know he was on the show recently. Let me say this about Cowherd. And listen, I like Cowherd. I think it's funny he had no idea the game was in Brazil. But listen, when you're in the national media, it's hard to keep track of every single thing. Listen, I don't know. Cowherd's not a Chiefs hater, regardless of what some of the stuff he's been saying lately. In 2023, when the Chiefs were dropping every single pass, it felt like Cowherd was one of the very, very, very few people who was optimistic about the Chiefs that year. It was him, Pat McAfee, Rich Eisen. They were amongst a few who were like, yeah, this team, all they have to do is flip a switch, which is exactly what happened. I just wanted to put that out there because I know people love to say who's a hater and who's not. And listen, I don't subscribe to that stuff. Chiefs fans think that Chris Collinsworth and Tony Romo hate on the Chiefs, yet every other fan base says that they love the Chiefs. I just never understand the criticism with announcers sometimes. Like, I see people complaining about Chris Collinsworth last night, and I'm just like, why? Like, what has Collinsworth done that's been terrible? Okay, his style is annoying to you. I don't know, man. Everyone's going to have different styles with broadcasting, but that's just me. By the way, some news that came out earlier today, the Chargers put their guard, Mekhi Becton, who's a good guard, by the way, on the injury report due to an illness. We saw this with Mahomes in that Broncos game I referenced earlier. We'll see what happens. My guess is he plays. Let me see. The Chargers did elevate an offensive tackle from their practice squad today and a long snapper. So I don't know if that's any indication, but if Mekhi Becton's not available for this game and they're already using a right guard at right tackle in Trey Pipkins, boy, that could really be a problem for the Chargers. And if you're the Chiefs, you can't apologize. You have to take advantage of that. Kind of like the whole Jalen Carter thing where he got kicked out of the game last night because of the bizarre incident with the spitting on Dak Prescott. What did the Cowboys do? They started running the ball a lot, straight up the middle. You're supposed to take advantage of that. I mean, you can't apologize and be like, oh, man, that sucks. First step of the entire season and you're out. No, you have to capitalize on that. And Dak even said after the game, they're like, yeah, we took advantage of that. That's what you're supposed to do. We're going to see the 2018 Chiefs offense. Man, that's what I said last year. And unfortunately, injuries had other plans. If Hollywood Brown stays healthy, if Xavier Worthy stays on the field, when Rashee Rice comes back, I think that's a possibility. I'm more inclined to say 2022's offense, which is just fine because that's when Mahomes broke the record that year. And he won Super Bowl MVP and league MVP that year. So, but 2018 with this defense, the 2018 offense with this defense, yeah, that style I'll take for sure. Do I have any predictions? Yes, actually, I do. 30. Well, first of all, score prediction 31-24. If you got a score prediction, I want to see it. Comment with that right now. I also said my prediction is Travis Kelce scores the first touchdown for the Chiefs this year. I think Xavier Worthy will also get a touchdown as well for the Chiefs. I don't know what the over-under is for Tyquan Thornton. Let me check it out. Let's see what our good friends over at DK have to say about that. Because I have not done a same game parlay bet yet on the Chiefs. I'm doing it after this live stream. Let's see. Chiefs are still 3.5 favorites. What is the receiving props here? Receiving yards. Yeah, that's what we want. Where is... oh, they don't have Tyquan Thornton on here. Oh, that's a mistake. Is there any way to receiving yards over under? No. They have Isaiah Pacheco and Amari in Hampton, but not Tyquan Thornton. Okay. Well, I was going to say bet the over on that one because I think that would certainly be a good bet to hit, but no, we don't have that right now. But what I will say is Kansas City will utilize their speed today. That's another prediction I've got. Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Tyquan Thornton. I'm excited to see all three of them on the field at the same time. And by the way, Thornton is no longer wearing number 2. He's changes number to number 80. So just be aware of that when you watch tonight's game. Corey says, who scores the first? Yeah, I just answered that. I know I'm just getting your comment now, but yeah, I'm going with Kelce. Hopefully Taylor lowers the penalties this year. I thought you were talking about a different Taylor for a second. I was like, really? She needs to lower her penalties? Oh, that Taylor. Yeah, Jawan definitely needs to lower his penalties. I think Patrick runs in the first, and Travis Kelce gets the last TD of the game. Worthy 70 yards and a touchdown in the middle of the game. That'd be sweet. 70 yards total or a 70-yard touchdown catch and run play? I mean, either one I'll take. Jim says, do you think we will see a more aggressive Chiefs offense this year? I'm hoping for quicker play this year. If the pass blocking is there, if the offensive line is there, then yes. And that's the thing. When I was on my KC Live this morning, they asked me, what's the one thing you're looking forward to seeing the most? I said, Justin Simmons, baby. Not Justin Simmons, Josh Simmons. I want to see how he looks. Kingsley Suamata, yeah, left guard. I want to see how he looks there. Because if the left tackle and the left guard spot are better this year than last year, the way it ended last year, that's going to be pretty good for Patrick Mahomes. That's terrible news for opposing defenses. I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic for Josh Simmons. Kingsley, I'm cautiously optimistic. Jawan Taylor, listen, he's going to be up and down this year. You just know that by now. I will say this is essentially a contract year for Jawan Taylor. Usually contract years wake players up. How many touchdowns will Patrick Mahomes throw in this game? Chris is asking. I'll go 3. One to Mahomes. No, one to Mahomes. One to himself. Well, it's possible. It is possible. Josh Allen did it last year. One to Kelsey. One to Worthy. And I don't know who the third one would go to, but he'll have a third, I think. Yeah, I hope you guys all got your flag benefiting the Ronald McDonald House, which I've heard of it, never got an understanding until recently. Shout out to Jackson, who he and his father I met sitting front row at a WWE event. He had a sign talking about combating cancer. And at the time, WWE World Champion Jey Uso recognized the sign and gave him a hug. And he and Jey Uso got to connect. And I actually got to be there when they got to have a FaceTime conversation, a video chat a week after that moment there. Jey Uso sent him like a belt and all these kinds of things. It was so cool. The sunglasses. He gave the kid the sunglasses, which was cool. But I got to go to the Ronald McDonald House and to witness the video chat, and I did not know anything about the Ronald McDonald House. I heard about it, but his father, Jeff, shout out to Jeff as well. He educated me on really what the Ronald McDonald House was all about, what it is, why they do things, and I was glad to have experienced that because I would not have known those things had it not been for that moment being front row at a WWE event. I hope Matt Nagy has his crap together this year. Yeah, we all do. We all hope that. And listen, I'm not one to defend Matt Nagy, but I will say this. I think we've got to cut him a little bit of slack because let's be honest here. Nagy's first year as the offensive coordinator, the receivers were dropping passes. And listen, I don't think it's all on Nagy. I think Nagy did a poor job of addressing it because the drops never went away, really. Even all the way in the Super Bowl 58, you saw it. Not as bad as it was in the regular season, but then last year, you had the injuries and the poor offensive tackle play to the point where they shifted their all-pro guard to tackle. Well, it seems like they have a good wide receiver corp in place. It seems like they've found a solution for some of the spots on the offensive line. If all of that goes as expected, Matt Nagy has no reason for not having a great year. Absolutely an opportunity, and could probably earn himself a second head coaching job for his career. Yeah, Joe Montana didn't have Patrick Mahomes in his top 5. That was interesting. I did see that. Chargers interior is really bad. I know their DB room is the biggest weakness. Yeah. When you look at the Chargers, they've got a really good cornerback and Terry Still, really underrated player, in fact. But when you look at the rest of, and by the way, Still was a 5th round draft pick from last year. That's how good he is. Played a lot better than people expected. But when you look at Dante Jackson and Cam Hart, those are 2 bad cornerbacks in LA secondary. They've got a great safety in Derwin James Jr. Alohi Gilman, yeah, he's part of that unit as well. But man, this is a secondary that might struggle in this one here. If they can find a way to limit Khalil Mack from getting to Mahomes, I think Mahomes will have a good day. On Instagram, how much should they pay Trent McDuffie to keep him happy? Well, if you look at the contracts that have been handed out recently at that position, Sauce Gardner got $30.1 million in 4 years. Derek Stingley just below that, $30 million in 4 years. J.C. Horn, $25 million in 4 years, and Jalen Ramsey, $24.1 in 3 years. Pat Surtain II, $24 in 4. So it's going to be north of $30 million, probably $31, $32 million. You hope he stays healthy, because if he does, he's going to cash in with a big payday next offseason. And it's, I know Kansas City's been paying a lot of players, and next year's cap is kind of a tricky one to figure out, but Brett Veach will always find a way. So we'll see what happens. Yeah, I was surprised by the Cowboys too. They were better than I expected. If they had a pass rush, oh boy. If only they had a guy by the name of Micah Parsons. I don't think Jalen Hurts has the type of game he has running the ball. I mean, forget about tush push. He was just running it, just scrambling out there. What do you think it's going to take for the Chiefs to get the credit they deserve? I mean, listen, you just got to keep winning. You just got to keep winning, especially since he's been compared to Brady a lot. Like, Mahomes is not getting compared to Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, or Drew Brees, or Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, especially considering he has more Super Bowls than those guys. He's getting compared to Brady. I mean, when you look at Mahomes, Super Bowl MVPs, 3 of them, and league MVPs, 2 of them, only Montana and Brady have more. So he's got to have more of those Super Bowl Lombardi hardwares in order to get the credit that he deserves from the public, from the general public. 14 score looked like the age difference. Yeah, that definitely did for Belichick. Oh, listen, Jim. I mean, yeah, I get you don't always agree with Cowherd, but listen, I don't care who your favorite podcaster or sports talk radio host is. We don't agree with all of them. Listen, I appreciate you guys and your support on my podcast. I'm sure you guys don't agree with me on every single thing, which is fine. But sometimes you do get egregious comments from time to time. Eric says the years they had international. 2015 was London. 2019 was Mexico. 2021. No. Hold on. 2015 was the UK. 2019 was Mexico. 2023 was Brazil. Oh, no, I'm sorry. 2023 was Germany, and tonight's Brazil. Yes. So this will be the 4th international game the Chiefs will have ever played. And if they win, they'll be the first team in NFL history to win a regular season game in 5 different countries. So there you go. Joshua says Dak spit first. Yeah, but listen, the whole thing with him trying to spit at Carter's direction. Listen, man, he was behind his offensive lineman. I mean, this is going to sound stupid, but you got to make sure you have really good spit aim to make sure you're not spitting at your own lineman. So I can believe Dak when he says he needs to spit. Listen, Dak spits a lot. A lot of players spit a lot. I remember after Carter got ejected, I noticed Dak was spitting a few times. And listen, I don't watch Cowboys games very, very closely, but I think Dak does that frequently. So I do believe Dak when he says that he just had to spit at a very specific, he had a very small window for spitting because he can't spit on his own teammates. That's silly. And it just so happened that he spit in that direction. And even if you're Jalen Carter, like, why would you do that? What do you benefit from that? Some Big Bob action? Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, some people are saying that the unsportsmanlike conduct and the ejection was essentially a 1-game suspension. Would the league view it that way? I don't know. I mean, technically he didn't. Okay, technically he didn't play, but he was on the active roster for that game, so he was available to play. I don't know how the league's going to view that in terms of a potential suspension. 27-17, Weston says. Kevin says 21-19, 38-14. Alex says. Brad says 29-10, 34-17, 42-7, 27-13, 30-26, 34-17. Okay. You guys are feeling good. I like it. Why did the NFL have big matchups in week 1? Buffalo, Baltimore, Dallas, Philly. Yeah, listen, sometimes they wait for those matchups, sometimes not. Matt says, should I start Hollywood Brown over Chris Olave? I don't know. I say go with Hollywood. Especially with all the rapport Mahomes and Hollywood built last year and we never got to see it. I think they try to get that started tonight. Yeah, I'm going 31 points. I think the Chiefs score 31 points tonight. They didn't have 31 points in a game last year. No, they never scored more than 30 in a game last year. They surpassed the 30-point mark 3 times 2 years ago. So let's see if the Chiefs can surpass their single game best of 31 or more points, already totaling more than last year. Let's see if they can do that. What are my favorite game time snacks and drinks? Ooh, a Tank 7 or a Broken Skull IPA. Those are always good drinks. In terms of snacks, you know what I've recently had more of? And I'm trying to be healthier with snacks also. But Whole Foods has these bite-sized pretzels with peanut butter inside them. Those are pretty damn good. Those are really good. Patrick Mahomes has arrived. Yes, he has. He is making his way to the locker room. All right, I'll read a few more questions and get out of here. How much of a big deal is LA losing Bosa? Joey Bosa, I think he gets a lot of hype because of who he's related to. Don't get me wrong, he's a good player. It's a loss, though. I still think it's a loss. It helps when you have 2 good pass rushers. Right now, they only have 1. So Kansas City's got to be ready for that. And I'm eager to see Josh Simmons, how he's going to do. Sorry, I'm just posting this as I chat with you guys. There we go. Are you live, or I may be watching it previously? No. It is 3:52 p.m. Central Time, and I'm reading your comment. Yeah, a lot of people sometimes don't know if I'm live or not. Sometimes after the live stream, when it's archived, I get comments from people saying, "Hey, why are you not reading my comment?" Look somewhere over here. If it says live somewhere up here, that means I'm live. If you don't see a red rectangle that says live on it, you missed me. I'm talking live, but I'm also talking in the future, if that makes any sense. Yeah, CD will bounce back. CD Lamb. Listen, I've always been a big fan of that guy. So yes. So Alex, great question. We will do a halftime live stream, and then we will do a post-game podcast. We'll do the Chiefs Zone podcast live. I'll also have for those of you who are new, following me for the first time this season, we do video calls after the game, kind of like a radio show. I'll have the link. We'll keep posting it throughout the post-game podcast. But all you have to do is click on it. You can do it from your computer. You can do it from your phone. Just turn on your audio and your video, put in your name, and we'll pop you up and we'll interact. I know in the past I've been lenient about callers and all of that. If you're going to call in, keep it to a minute. That's usually what a lot of radio show hosts do. I don't need you guys recapping the entire game. I'll take care of that for you guys, but I just want you guys to give 1 or 2 big points that you guys want to put out there, or if you guys have a question, any of those things. But otherwise, we'll do the cutoff. We'll do the abrupt cutoff because, we do have a podcast to get through, and there are going to be a lot of people who call in after games that want to get on. And I certainly want to try to get to everyone, especially when some have to wait longer than others. And I definitely appreciate those people who are patient in doing that. If you like pretzels and peanut butter, try what cacalet? I'm sure I fucked that up. What cacalet, Joshua? Send me a picture. Aeon's Blaze says Royals suck, go Yankees, go Chiefs. Okay. I like the comment though. Do you think the Chiefs are more likely to face the Bills or the Ravens in the AFC title game? I said the Ravens, so I'm going with that one. I thought you fell asleep for a second. No, I'm just, I was looking down, so I apologize. Okay, yeah, it says live in the left-hand corner. Yeah, if you see that, yeah. So we have more than 200 people watching live. If you're watching on Facebook, which some of you are, a majority of the commenters are on Facebook, but a majority of the viewers are on X. But a lot of people on X don't comment, and I don't know why. We have a lot more viewers on YouTube this time than we have had in years past. So thank you guys who are watching on YouTube. Last off season, we had 10,000 new followers. And when I say off season, I'm talking from the Super Bowl to the very first Chiefs game. This off season, 19,000 new followers. So thank you guys. All right. I'm going to get out of here. I think I've covered a lot of things with you guys. I've answered a lot of questions. Thank you all so much for a great offseason. That is now in the past. We are now in the regular season. We're going to have a lot of fun this year. Thank you guys so much for helping this podcast and social media pages, all of them, to grow. Without you guys, a lot of the stuff we do would not be possible. And like I said, we do have a big announcement coming up regarding the podcast and the social media. I just can't say it right now. I'm hoping soon. It's killing me. But it will be very, very soon. So I appreciate you guys. Yeah, see, like Rochelle's listening while going home from work. Like that I love hearing. Some of you guys are watching or listening at the gym or wherever you are. That means a lot to me. So thank you guys so much for all of that. Okay, I'm going to get out of here. Do your pregame rituals. Get your playlist, your pregame playlist. Get that going. Prepare some snacks and drinks. Come back at halftime. We'll do a quick halftime live stream. And then after the game, we're doing the Chiefs Zone podcast. I don't care how late it is. We'll go for as long as we need to. Thank you all again. Peace and love. Just like Alex says, I'm out of here. I'll talk to you all at halftime.